I had to feel my way up the steps and then grab her. And then I had one of them pandemic masks, thankfully, because it's pandemic.
Yeah.
So I put that on her face.
Mask on her face.
Yeah. Walk down. And
you
then,
literally saved your mom from a burning building?
Bruh, I'm like...
Nah,
yo,
you different, bro.
I'm like, we even.
You different.
Nah, that was all good because she was saying like, she was having a vision that she like, oh, I think it's my time. She said from her perspective, she just felt a cool breeze. She like, Lord, I'm at peace. And then she said she just felt me go.
Wow.
Snatch her back to life, man. But
wow.
Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Yeah, I might have a great day. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Lish Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of my podcast, I'll Just Let Myself In, the podcast where we don't wait for an imaginary permission slip or for some seat at an imaginary table. We let ourselves into our God-given doors. Y'all know I try to bring y'all the best guests, people who I believe are adding value to the space, people who I believe that you can learn from and be inspired by to walk through your God-given doors. And today is no different. Today, I have a London-based producer, artist, social media personality, contestant on the newest world's funniest game show, Relationships, Pop the Balloon, and all around artist who is beginning to delve into some faith-based content of his own. And it is my pleasure to introduce here in the U.S. to my good brother, the London-based UK artist, So Special K, also known as SSK, y'all. Give it up for SSK. Welcome to the couch, man.
Hey, Lish, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you having me here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Glad to have you in Atlanta. He has some family here, so it's great to have you as you're visiting. And I'm excited because I want to have a conversation that I believe my audience can really benefit from in the sense of pivoting. Mm-hmm. And learning when to listen to the call inside of you, even though the noise outside of you might be really loud. So we're going to get into talk about that. But before any of that, right? Your name is SSK, which stands for So Special K. Yeah. Let me know, how you came up with that to be your artist name.
All right, so what's so funny is not a lot of people know that. So I know you did your homework.
Yes, I did.
Everyone's like, what does SSK stand for? And I'm just always interchanging it, like Wheezy F Baby. It's like, so, but yeah, originally the original name is So Special K, S-O Special K-A-Y. And that was something, my actual name is Kaya. So, and that's what the K, I put it out there. I was trying to keep, but it's what it is. But So Special was something, it just felt organic. I remember I was a teenager when I first started using it. And it just, I don't remember making the decision. It's just like, that was just a name. Yeah. And what it actually stood for was just being different. Yeah. And I didn't realize the power of what that whole thing, that's literally been my whole life based on that. But it's about being different, being yourself, not following the crowd. Yeah. Simply put, but I feel like I've built my whole lifestyle around that. Yeah. And that's like probably the core of what I am, and everything I do is based around that. Not following the crowd. It being okay to have your own story and go down a story that isn't written yet. Yeah. That's
good. So growing up in the UK, you told me that your mom is Guyanese and your dad is Jamaican. You got family in the South and here in the States. Tell me a little bit about your childhood and how those different components made you into the so special person that you are. Okay.
So it's funny actually, like I've got both sides of my family here in Atlanta, which is a big melting pot itself. Yeah. But the UK is the biggest melting pot. Like they invented the melting pot and spread it around the world and called it the empire. And now when everyone's coming back, it's a problem. But so the UK, you have all kinds of nationalities there. A lot of the Caribbeans came over in the 50s to help rebuild after the war. So they call that the Windrush generation. My dad's side of the family, my granddad came over around that time, factory worker. My grandma came over that side on my mom's side. And yeah, my parents are actually first generation UK born. So, I'm second generation. So a lot of us are only 2 generations deep. You'll see a lot of Africans and Caribbeans. And we've only been there for a generation or 2. Wow. Compared to like America where it's got deep roots here. Yeah. But growing up, you have certain areas that were had a great what's the word? A great concentration of Caribbean people. And I grew up in that. One of the areas is a place called Brixton. Many people might have heard of. Yeah. So Brixton were born and grown, you know what I mean? And that's like being born and grown in Brooklyn or something, you know?
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. Yes,
oh,
sir.
there you go. Yeah. So born and grown Brixton, Myersfield Estate, which was like one of the what you'd have projects, but it didn't look like a project. It was actually very green. It had fields and hills and stuff. So people used to call it mini Jamaica. There was always like not just block parties. They had like, you know, the all days, the functions. I'm glad you'll get what I mean now, being from New York. You know exactly.
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
And my husband is Caribbean.
There you go. Yeah. So sound systems, all of that stuff. So that was like mini Jamaica. The summer's day, you're out till what time of the night?
Yes.
Like everyone's just free out there, and that was a nice upbringing. You know, Brixton had a reputation, its own reputation, but. That was just life back in the day, you know, especially back in the 90s before gentrification. So it was very community based. And because of that, I grew up in a lot of community projects. We had a lot of youth centers. We had what was called adventure playgrounds where they would, you just send kids for the day and they'll be safe. There'll be structures built out of wood and everyone's swinging on rope swings and stuff. And they had them all around London. So London was like before the gentrification thing, it was really, had a lot for the young people, and they really invested in the young people. Hence why we came out how we did. No, but things changed around the 2000s, I guess, for me. And you know, it got a lot more violent, really violent around the early 2000s. It was probably had its little things from 90s, but the 2000s was really, and then it was like, hey, you know, people say that it's crazy now because there's a lot of youth violence right now. It's really bad.
I didn't know that.
But no, it's someone calling it a epidemic almost. It's crazy, but I could get into that. But in the 2000s, it was more. I feel like it was grimier then because that's when the gun crime. We had a lot of gun crime then.
And there was no social media.
That's it.
So
you
could really get gully.
Yeah, it was all of that. It was like standardly you wear shorts under everything you wear, you know, because you're keeping all your stuff in the shorts. Like it was the stick up kit. My era was like the stick up era. So that was an era. And so once you like all the sweet childhood stuff ended at the end of the 90s into the 2000s, then it was like, okay, you're outside. And then there's like next minute, you know, you're finishing school, everyone's getting arrested, a bunch of half of you people, you know, are going to jail. And this is just my experience. I can't talk for all of like London, but I grew up in South London and East London's got its own and North and everything else. But yeah, I just say it because there's a lot of people that don't actually know this side of London and the parallels of growing up, and especially growing up black in a white country. You know, who's getting wrongly accused, who's getting picked up, who's getting picked on. We have like police jump out units. You say where they had Red Dogs here, and you had jump out boys and all of that in up north or wherever else. We had that in there, TSG units, and those are the ones that could jump out and just grab a bunch of black boys and whoop give you a good butt whooping first, and then throw you in the thing, crack your car window open, drag you out. All of that stuff. So it was like, and they'll pick on the estates, which are like the projects. So they'll know everyone by name, like in The Wire. Like, Bo, come here.
Like in The Wire. That's what I thought about.
Like, Bo, you start to know the units. You know what I mean? So I think the reason I'm leading into that is because my first youth project that I started working on, it was around my grandma's estate in Myersfield. It was called the Myersfield North Youth Project. Youth Forum, sorry. And we would just be hanging out. People would just be hanging out because there was no youth service around there, nothing for the young people to do. So everyone was getting picked on by the police. And then me, one of my friends, Jaden, and Jaden and Priscilla, we kind of came and we speaking to my mum. And so my grandma's house was like a hub. So people would just be in and out there anyway. You know, my aunt would be making cake. You just come in since we was kids. So we were by my grandma's one day. And my mum was like, yo, do you want any services? Because she was always in youth work. And we like, yeah. So we made a consultation form and we went around the whole estate or project and just like all the young people were like, yo, would you want to do ice skating? Would you want to do go-karting? Would you want to go on trips? Would you want to do basketball? You want to do boxing? And everyone, we got mad signatures. From that, we did the funding application and then we was getting approved for funding and we was able to set that up.
Wow.
And we was like 17 at the time, 17. I didn't realize, it's only when I got older, I realized like what we doing.
How important that was.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, thank God my mom's like doing the organization stuff because she knew all the, you know what I mean? So she's very respected in the community for a lot of the youth services that she did. But that was one of my first experience of just what can be done if and it changed the whole neighborhood.
The neighborhood, yeah.
By the time it was like 3-4 years later, we was in City Hall getting a Mayor of London award for all of that. And, you know, it's like so much can be changed if you just take time to invest in the youth or pay attention to them. Yeah. Everyone that was in that youth forum is doing something successful now.
I love
Every single person, you know, or they're on some kind of path.
They're on a path, yeah.
So yeah, that was dope. Where I kind of so that's where I got those are like the seeds that
entrepreneurship
kind of went into
yeah. Let's talk about. Listen, I want to ask you a question really quick. You know, because with all the things that you've done in music, you've worked with some big people. You've worked with, you know, you worked on big platforms. You've had your music on Netflix and HBO and all these different things. Yeah. And to pivot from that, not leave it, but pivot from it to teaching the youth emotional intelligence, as well as AI. As well as entrepreneurship. You know, I hear you talking about your mom and it makes sense now why you would do that. So with that being said, I want to ask you two things. The first one is, why shouldn't people be afraid of AI? Why should they work with AI instead of being afraid of it? And then my follow-up question to that would be, what's the one thing you would tell someone who doesn't know anything about AI to get them started on their journey?
Okay. The reason I shouldn't be afraid of AI is they were afraid of nearly all of the technology you use. Never mind the internet, your mobile phones,
the television,
probably even the radio before. Think about when the radio came out, you know, and that was like talking people and you know, there's different levels to the fear. There's the fear of what it means for people's jobs. It's the fear of what it means technologically. There's even the spiritual fear. You're like, oh no, this is like, you know, this is witchcraft, or this is the you know, the beast or whatever. Whereas like you gotta think, when radio first came out, you're hearing someone's voice that's over there. Think how insane that is. even now though, the technology we take for granted still blows my mind more than AI, because it's like, what do you mean we could film a picture and I could see a picture of someone across the world?
Yeah.
Like that's
you can FaceTime somebody and see them immediately.
Show that to someone 200 years ago. They're just gonna burn the witch. Burn the witch, you know? So it's every technology, we use so much adapted technology that people are scared of anyway. So it's better to just know and understand it. And it's because it's like most technology, it's not going away. Yeah. But the only difference is whose hands is it in? And that's what's important. AI is just a tool like anything else. Every war wasn't started by the guns, it was started by the humans. Yeah. So you gotta think, who are the humans that are learning this? Who are the humans that are harnessing it? Is it gonna be someone with a wicked heart, or is it gonna be someone who has true good intentions? Yeah. And while we have the opportunity to learn these tools, we need to be learning them, because otherwise it will be the people with bad intentions of greed, selfishness, and not caring about anybody else, which is a high percentage who are becoming more and more powerful every day. They're going to be learning these things and in control of it. By the time you get in control of it, or the time you learn it, it's too late. You're behind. You know, I don't want to always push panic and stuff, but I want to push wisdom. And it's like, why not learn it like the same way you learn anything else? There's ethical reasons people are scared about, like AI is stealing from artists, it's stealing from knowledgeable people, but it's learning. All it's doing is doing the learning you would do anyway. Yeah. So if you're learning 1 million topics that might take you 20 years, are you not doing the same thing it's doing? It's just doing it in a fraction of a second. So I feel like, you know what it is? I feel like it's fair, some excuses, misunderstanding, and sometimes people just want to jump on the latest campaign. You know what I'm saying? To hate something. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us also, someone knows nothing about AI, doesn't use it, doesn't even know what ChatGPT is, doesn't even use Siri, nothing, right? Yeah. What would you tell them to help them get started in learning about AI?
I would probably say just mess around with ChatGPT and just know there's no rules. You can't ask it. And Siri as well. You know, it's a tough one because I understand the security concerns. Like, I don't know, I don't want to listen to me. But I would say mess with ChatGPT and from there you'll kind of start to understand it, especially now that it could create images as well. You know, for some of the young people, I just get them in on the fact that they want to make images or art.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you know, you could also ask this, and you can make a schedule, or you can ask it to design a book or a website, you know, because all it is a calculator, and it's no different than the calculator you use to do your equations and anything, but it's just doing more than actual maths. It's doing calculating whatever else you need to do. So I feel like that's a good start. There's there's different alternatives to ChatGPT. You know, you got Claude, you've got dare I say Gemini? But Gemini has its uses. And Gemini has some cool stuff. That's a lot of the stuff that I use with young people, because they actually have Google AI Suite. And it has a lot of cool stuff to get young people and newbies as well to understand all the stuff that AI can do. Yeah. So stuff from voice, voice related, you know, text to voice, all those different things, image,
simpler,
video,
things to start out.
Right, that's but really in cool, fun ways, as if you're going to the science museum. Yeah. And that's just my main thing, I would say, over all of it. It's like, once upon a time when we were kids, we found this stuff the coolest thing. We were like, we would love this stuff. We were sitting on the computer, we were playing Sims, you know, anything that was like, you know, creative and imaginative. Yeah. And it's like, you just got to ask yourself, what made you fall out of love with your imagination? And what made you fall out of love with optimism? Yeah.
When did I lose my curiosity? Exactly. That's what I always tell people. Right. That's good.
And it's when you started feeling powerless and you got to think.
That's deep. Yeah. When you started feeling powerless, you gave up on your curiosity. That's good. Let me ask you this as a producer, and I want to get into your music career in a second. But when you have a producer like Timbaland, creating an AI artist, what are your thoughts as someone who is both equally into the music business as an artist and producer, but also loves and champions AI? What are your thoughts on something like that?
All right. Do you want my thoughts for artists or my thoughts for the general public, or both?
Give me both.
Okay. I would say for artists, why have you not started making your own AI artist version of yourself?
That is not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. Curveball. So Special K, man, I'm the wild card. I would also say, all right, you got to look at who Timbaland is. Because if it was some unknown person working at Sony doing it as well, you'd be like, okay, red flags, what are they doing? Yeah. So now you got to think, what is Timbaland's intentions? What is his heart posture, right? Yeah. What is his what if he's just someone like, you know, because there's other people that are probably doing it that haven't mentioned it. I already know probably people like will.i.am probably have 5 of them already. They've been on this, you know. will.i.am is the genius. will.i.am and Pharrell are the geniuses when it comes to tech music. Yeah. So you got to look at the person's heart posture. Again, it comes back to the conversation we were having before. All this technology is going to be here, you know, but who's going to be running it and what are they going to be doing with it? So, but I would say in terms of, it's past music now. It's going to go into modeling, etc. Having a conversation with a model the other day. I'm like, you need to just license your own face likeness, because eventually all they're going to do is either be able to use your face the same way they're going to be able to use your voice, or you just, if you take control of your image, and everything is going to be personality based. Wow. So, yeah. But I'm optimistic.
So you get it. You understand why Timbaland did that.
Yeah, most definitely. It's, and it's no different than so much stuff that's already out here that we're already tuned into, you know. Yeah. It's just, I think the ethical thing was just the training it on people's music kind of thing. Yeah. That part is that's a little messy. You need transparency. Yeah. You need transparency. I think transparency wins the day every time, in my opinion. Yeah. My opinion. Yeah. All right, let me ask you some questions about your personal career. Okay. So, you're a producer, but you're also an artist, and you produce for big artists while trying to become a big artist, right? Tell me what that journey is like. So I'll tell you the timeline a little. So how I even started producing as an artist, my mom, like I said, she did youth projects, but one of her projects was a creative project, a child performing arts project. So they were like a dance crew. She would always have tapes and CDs lying around. And, you know, back in the day in the tapes, you have the instrumentals on there. So I used to write raps to them. Like, crazy enough, I know this is like super unexpected, but one of the first raps I wrote back in the day was to Lil' Kim. Like, whatever. That's crazy. That's some personal.
Which beat?
Drugs.
Really?
I was like 7 years old, and that beat is crazy.
Yeah, I started rapping very young too, so
feel me?
7 years old makes sense to me.
Yeah. I was writing about like where I was living, everything. My mom was like, "Yo, keep writing." She nurtured the time. You keep writing.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to like secondary school, I would just rap to anything.
And
I
what
heard
grade
on.
is secondary school for the
so
Americans?
secondary school in
Middle
the
school?
UK is I say
6th grade.
I could do by age.
Okay, yeah.
So
What's the
You
age?
start secondary school at age 11 and you finish at age 16.
Yeah, so that's middle school.
Yeah, okay.
Age 16.
Yeah. So
Also, that's into high school.
So where you guys will have high
Okay.
school, we have what's called college, but it will be junior college for you.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and then college, what we call
Is
university.
university.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So
Got it.
high school is like our college age
Nice.
or A-level age.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah,
Y'all following? All right, go ahead.
so yeah, middle school age,
Secondary school. Yeah,
Right.
we got you.
I was writing to anything, but then I started playing around on the keyboard. And that's when I learned how to air, where I could just play stuff by ear. So we had a lot of whatever songs was out. I'm talking about all those DMX and Swizz Beats things, all those melodies. I would play them in music class, and they again shout out British education system. It's not much I'll shout out, but we got a handful of things I will shout out. And we have music class, which was compulsory keyboards and stuff, and I would just play like all those hip hop melodies. Everyone would gather around and start freestyling on that. And when I got home, I had 2 tape players. I'll read the quick story. I had two tape players. I would play melodies from a beat on one, record it, and then I would just play melodies from another beat on another one, and then play that back while I'm playing another, and start layering up my own beats like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would just kind of wanted stuff to rap on. So I made beats for myself basically.
Dope.
And then before I finished school, one of my music teachers saw that I had a keen interest in like making beats. So they gave me a cracked version of the software that we were learning on. So I got my first, that was called Cakewalk, which later became Cubase.
Okay.
And then I had a homie Tyrone. I'm gonna big him up in every interview. Every mic
Come on,
I'm on.
Tyrone.
We all got a Tyrone. I didn't have internet in my crib. So Tyrone had the internet. He was the LimeWire guy.
Shout out
bro.
to Tyrone's parents. Paying
Shout
for
out.
the internet.
Mommy. Yo, so like he gave me a download with FL Studio in it, and it was on from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started on FL Studio making beats for myself because no one weren't really getting it. And then by the time, I would only produce for myself maybe until all through university, all of that I was doing stuff for myself. People would ask me for beats. I'm like, eventually, I was like, nah.
Yeah.
And then 2015, I think around the time when I first came over here, I came back and I had a battery in my back, man. I was like, yo, Atlanta, I think 2015 Atlanta. Like, I remember, was that? Yeah.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
Right.
You had to stop telling that story.
Yeah. I'm good. I had something in my mouth.
Oh, I got you.
All right, but yeah. I remember 2015 Atlanta. I pulled up over here, straight in the airport. I'm seeing celebrities. I'm sitting down in the barbershop. I'm seeing like Zaytoven next to me. I'm like, it's popping out here for real. So by the time I went back there, I after networking like crazy here, I said, I'm gonna actually start producing for people. And I set up my production company, 2015 SSK Music, and that's when it was set up. And then from 2015 right up to, I think, the pandemic, I was only producing for other people. So I completely put my whole music career
To the side.
to the side. Yeah, I said I have to double down on this, build a business out of this, and that was a very interesting journey of those 5 years. And that'll be 10 years since I started that now this year. 10 years, but yeah, so it's been. And in 2020, what happened is just a little thing called the pandemic.
Yep. It's a tiny thing.
It's a little thing,
No big deal.
a couple masks and that, you know what I mean?
Mercy.
Yeah. So studios were closed. Everything was closed. But you know me, I'm an opportunist. So I was like, it's cool. I'm gonna be on live. I'm gonna make beats on live. I did a whole challenge. I made a beat sampling Akon lockdown challenge. And that started going viral. Like people were doing freestyles to that. Everything was good. I'm like, nah, this pandemic is gonna be a blessing in disguise. I'm gonna come up on this TikTok thing. And then randomly, right in the middle of the pandemic in July, it's almost like an anniversary right now, I had a house fire. My whole house burned up.
Wow.
Like, was homeless for like, I think 2 years.
Wow.
Like, I'm telling you, we was literally sleeping outside for the first 2 days. All my whole studio, everything. Not everything got burnt up, but the whole place got burnt up, the facility. So I was working out of there. Whole operation shut down. And this is after building up from 2015 and having all the accolades and all the early stuff, the label stuff. I was from scratch. And then after that, I was just like between 2020 and 2023, I was just like unstable, living in different city, living out there, living out the country, went to live in South Africa for a little bit.
I love South Africa.
Oh man.
Yeah. What part?
Joburg.
Okay.
So like, yeah, so Cape Town is where it's at.
Yeah.
Like, that's where my people.
I love Cape Town.
That's where the motion is, but Joburg is where you live.
Yeah.
Like that's
Cape Town
life.
reminds me of New Orleans.
Is it?
To me, a little bit.
Yeah, it does. The streets and the houses. Yeah.
And then, yes, Joburg is where you go to live. And then if you got a little coin, shop.
Telling you, yeah, that's it.
So, yeah.
And Durban is Miami.
Yeah, nice. I have not been to Durban.
I haven't properly, but I've seen it enough. But I can tell that's like Florida vibes. Yeah. But so that fire was a big game changer for me. You know, I had just that. So even, for example, after the fire, we was living in temporary accommodation for a minute. And then that's where I didn't have no studio or nothing. All I had was my mic. And I was like, it's a pandemic, can't go anywhere. I might as well just start recording my own music and working on that. But I didn't realize at the same time, that was almost music therapy for me. Because we were actually in the fire. I didn't really explain it. It was a tumble dryer. So a 40 tumble dryer. And it was a late night dry. And it overheated. And next minute, went in the kitchen, whole thing's on fire. Like I had to, at the time, I'm at the family house. I've gone to like, my mom's gone upstairs to get the cats out, allow the cats out the upstairs to make sure they don't get burnt up.
Oh my god!
And one of them did get lost in the fire. Yeah, and then by the time she's come back downstairs, because I've run back in the house, I'm remembering all the fire train, and I'd like wet a towel, put it around my face just so I could breathe. You can't see nothing. I'm telling you one thing I didn't know. I did not know fire smoke was that hot. Yeah. That smoke is hot. Yeah. I'm walking through there, trying to feel it, and I can't see nothing. I'm like, Mom, should I? Shouting down. I had to feel my way up the steps and then grab her. And then I had one of them pandemic masks, thankfully, because it's pandemic. Yeah. So I put that on her face.
Mask on her face.
Yeah. Walk down. And
you literally saved your mom from a burning building?
Bruh, I'm like...
Nah, you different, bro.
I'm like, we even.
You different.
Nah, that was all good, because she was saying, like, she was having a vision that she like, I think it's my time. She said, from her perspective, she just felt a cool breeze. She like, Lord, I'm at peace. And then she said, she just felt me go...
Wow.
Snatch her back to life, man. But, it was... Yeah, so that was... And that goes into the whole mental health thing, because I didn't know I had PTSD from that until maybe a year and a half later.
I'm sure.
And I had to have therapy with that. And then they really broke down a lot of things. And that's when I realized I did see what's called CBT therapy.
What is that?
And that's, which is cognitive behavior therapy. Okay. So that's more about learning about your brain, how you're thinking and everything like that. So that's when I realized that should be a compulsory subject in school for everybody age 15, etc. So you know how you think. Because for example, it's letting you know how to capture negative thought cycles, stuff that causes you depression, thinking thought types, like, for example, making a mountain out of a molehill, mind reading, like thinking someone's thinking something bad about you and starting to put yourself down and realizing, no, it's all in your head. Yep. So there's a lot of things that we can snap ourselves out of if we're able to look at ourselves from the outside in. Yeah. But if you're not taught that, you don't, and that just affects how you socially are, and then how you socially are affects that. But also taught me simple other things like, you can't serve from an empty cup. You don't know that unless someone teaches you that. You'll break your back doing stuff for other people. And then doing stuff half efficiently, and then being worse than you were before. Yeah, trying to please everybody. Yeah. Also the power, the power of being able to say no. Sometimes you feel like you can't say no to people. And also I think one of my favorite ones, allowing yourself to schedule yourself to have fun. You're allowed to schedule fun activities to breathe.
Schedule fun and schedule rest.
Rest, exactly.
Scheduling rest is so important. And I've learned that over the last several years of my life, that just because I am free doesn't mean I'm available. Right. I am free to me.
There you go.
I am free to myself.
There you go.
So if I've spent all week ripping, running, and doing, and I'm free on a Saturday, that does not mean I'm available to go to your thing or hang out with you or help you with this. This means I am free to me to rest. To rest, to sleep, to be silent, to laugh, to whatever, because you really cannot pour from that empty cup. And I think that's so important I know that you changed your message a little bit in your music to more faith-based, more inspirational, more encouraging. Was that because of the fire, or was that some other life circumstance?
You know what's crazy is the way the last 4 years have been. Or
the fire wasn't the worst thing?
The fire, I even forget about the fire. That's how crazy it is. The fire is like, I'm glad I even just remembered to tell you about it. But so there was a lot that happened in the last few years. I think, so as I was saying, as a result of the fire, I was living in South Africa for a bit. First trip I went over there was, so let me just give it in a linear order. I was living in temporary accommodation. Then I went to live with my friend in the outskirts of London, maybe about an hour. And that's like super country. It's like living Stone Mountain or out there. Yeah. But it was very quiet, boring, but it allowed me to create some good music out there. And then I made something out there that used a South African sample, Sister Bettina. And then I was posting it on Instagram. A good friend of mine that's like family now, she became my manager. Her name is Tumi. And then she heard it and said, you should come out to South Africa. Like, they'll love this out here. We'll push it. And I was like, I missed the wild card.
Yeah,
I will hop on that plane next month. You know what I mean? I hopped on the plane next month. I spoke to this. I'm telling you. First, I spoke to this girl, Rebecca, because I was kind of like, and Rebecca's dope. Rebecca the creative. And she said something profound to me. She said, I was scared about taking a chance. And she was like, yo, you need to take a chance, because when God does something for you, there's no way you'll be able to take credit for it. It'll only be him, and just go on faith. And she had been there. She's like, just go on faith, And yeah, so I went out there. That was doing good. I met everybody, ended up just meeting some cool people, shooting a video. And then later that year, when I came back, my dad got ill. He had they found a tumor on his kidney, so he had to get that removed. But then so he was in the hospital. So I come back from high South Africa, come back, and everything's just like, I'm in the hospital every week. Not every week, every other day. Like I'm visiting him, and I would start just writing every time I'm on the train. It was like my exercise, my game. I jump on writing every day. I'm writing, and then fast forward to later down the year, man, yo, it's some deep stuff, man. So I got into depression. There was a girl I was seeing, and then she had miscarried. And then I remember writing about that, because that was like people don't really hear that from the guy's perspective as well. You kind of get excited about that. And then so I didn't realize that I was kind of spiraling, but I had just moved back into the burnt house. It just got repaired. I mentioned 2 years later. So I've got all these boxes around me. It's UK winter, which is like the most, that's not
dreary,
the dreary depression thing ever. Just dealt with that after moving. And then it's like, yo, and afterwards I was just like, yo, I'm about to go crazy. I almost crashed out. So I just ended up doing what my random self would do at the time, and hopping on a flight back to South Africa. But what I learned is I went there with the wrong energy. I went there with running away energy, some real Jonah energy, And then so when I was out there, I was feeling like I was having a whale of a time. It's great, but I didn't realize how far from God I was going when I was out there the second time. So it was like, and I've realized like going far from God doesn't necessarily mean doing the craziest stuff. It just means doing so much of you. Not doing the thing he told you to do. You can even be doing something right. Right. Yeah, you can be doing right, but that's your right. You know what I mean? So the more you're doing you fit. So it feels like you're achieving and stuff like that. But then eventually all kind of possibilities are open, because you're doing you, and you're not on the path you're supposed to be doing. So I may have been doing a lot out there, but I didn't realize how far from my actual purpose I was on. So I was really like, I won't say crashing, I was wilding out, but really it's crashing out. For months out there. And then everyone's like, oh, when you coming back? I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm doing that. And I was doing too much, breaking all the rules, spreading myself thin. But over there, South Africa, it's like a movie, man. Anything you think you want to do, it moves. I had my businesses running there. I'm like, had a little mini label there. So much talent. Talent is born out there, dancing and singing. So everything, I'm like, you're living best life. I'm in the motherland. It's all good. But then I'm wilding at the same time. So by the time I come back, I'm thinking it's all good. I come back, and right when I want to meet my dad ran to tell him, update him the stories, because I'm talking to him the whole time. He just out of nowhere has a stroke. Wow. He has a stroke, and then he's in a coma for like 2 months trying to get back. When he's in the coma, he had a heart attack, heart stop, came back, brain damage. because he had the kidney out and he was on dialysis. They didn't want to kind of keep his machine on. I had to do a GoFundMe, not just a GoFundMe. I had to do a petition, Just Change, to let them keep his machines on because they were saying that he wasn't worth keeping on.
Wow.
So I was doing all that on autopilot again. So that was a tough time.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how much that kind of affects you. That, I'm talking about, my pops were my biggest fan.
Yeah.
Mom and dad, very different with my music. My pops, I could do no wrong. Everything, you know, even though he didn't grow up in the house, anything. And that's why I rated him even more, because he showed that even though you're not in the house, doesn't mean, you don't need, just because you might not have what they call a broken home, don't mean you have to have a broken family.
Yeah.
Him and my mom are like siblings almost, like be at all the functions.
Yeah, my dad and my mom are the same way.
You understand? Yeah. So he'll be there, the relationship is there. Strong advice, so anything, I holler at him, you know, even though we don't live in the same place, and you know, we have to make our own peace with them, whatever way, and once you do that, the relationship gets stronger. Yes. So our relationship was so strong, and that was my dude, man. That was my person. I'll play any new songs, like, yo, and he'll talk about the new music. Yeah. My mom, she's I wouldn't say strict, but she's very holy spiritual. And I get her more now in my walk with God. So I could have a banger back in the day.
But she ain't trying to hear it if it ain't
she's
about...
like, yo, she's like, okay, but make sure your music glorifies God. All right, but make sure what you're doing is to glorify. And sometimes I'll be making good songs, like high frequency, like positive songs, like, okay, but it's to glorify. I'll be like, oh, I ain't never playing you nothing, man. So I had a rule, like, I would not play my mom no music, because it's always going to kill the vibe, what the feedback is, because it'd be good, but
she wanted to glorify God.
Right. If it's not glorifying God, you know, and then, but my pops was like, yo, this is a bang, you need to put it. And that was my hype, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when he passed, you know, that was a whole, that was a chapter, man. And then I think after that, you know, I went back to South Africa. And again, I didn't realize I was wilding again. This has been a journey, man. Yeah. And then, but then that is grief wilding. Yeah. So you're dealing with grief, and then, so after everything else, and then by the time I got to, where are we now? 2023. By the time I got to 2024, stuff started being revealed to me, like how I started seeing myself from the outside. Well, not even that. I started, you know, when they say breaking at the seams, you start to see the cracks. I used to have like a lot of drink bottles in the crib.
So you start seeing yourself.
Yo, they would have like, I'm telling, no, not even that. I would have those for years. They're just like their collection. You know, black people have that collection of just like that no one touches and stuff like that. Yeah. And then like random stuff, like it was a March. And then I looked and I was like, when did I drink those drinks that have been there for years? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm sitting inside, and next minute it will move to something else. Then I'm like chain vaping or whatever, you know. Then I'm smoking weed again. I'm like, then I'm out every night partying, like, I mean, coming home to 5, like, just out crashing. And that's when it became visible, like, yo, you're not, there's something not wrong. There's something not right. Yeah. You need to heal. You need to sit still and you need to heal. And you need to, I'm like, yeah, I'm praying, I'm connecting with God, you know, I'm still connected, but you're not healed, and you know, there's something you really need to address. Yeah. Not just the depression, but the trauma, the grief, and the pain, and there was some other stuff going on that is a bit even deeper to mention. But I think it's when it got to like late last year, and this was a turning point for me. Cause I know we're talking about how I kind of just locked in more. Yeah. And it was, my cousin passed suddenly, and now he's young. He's like in his 30s, and this is a on point dude. I'm talking about healthy, bodybuilder, family, kids, mortgage, on point, driving, chartered accountant, you know, like shout out Jay, man. And that was a shock for all of us. Yeah. And you know, sometimes it's like, it shouldn't take a catalyst like that, but sometimes it takes something like that to make you it's almost like a dedicated. I'm like, yo, I need to get my stuff together. Yeah. Even just for him, because, you know, for him, even though I'm doing it for God, but sometimes it takes that and then it puts you back in the right direction. Right. It'll just take a step like, nah, I need to stop the ramp. I'm going to just lock off this. And then it's like, I'm going to lock off this. Then I was just like, I just want to be excellent. Yeah. You know, and it's a journey, because I was way far gone by the time last summer. Like me, I say me this time last year is a different person. There's probably a reason God wouldn't let me be out here all these years, because it was a different, and I knew better. It was real up and down, but it was like, yo, I really need to just take time, be still, stop running away every cold winter.
Yeah.
And be still and let God work on me and heal me, man. And
yeah.
so I feel like the reason I couldn't, every time my mom would say, make your music glorify to God, because it wasn't reflecting your life. It could only just reflect your relationship. You could only talk about what you're talking about at the time.
So much, yeah.
Right.
It's going to have an endpoint at some point. Yep.
So I think just getting my stuff, getting closer to God and just over these last month and really learning, understanding what surrender means. That's how my music has taken a turn, because it's just kind of me being, I don't even want to put nothing out unless it, not even on my own message that God will like this or God. It's just like, yo, I'm not putting nothing out until you kind of say, it might be on the bus randomly, like, put out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So in that vein, let's talk about this new project, Showers.
Okay.
That just came out. And I'm guessing that God told you it was okay to put it out since it's out. So tell your listeners, your viewers, my listeners and my viewers, one, what inspired Showers, what they can expect on Showers, and what they should be looking for.
Right. So Showers, funny enough, was written over a year ago.
Wow.
I wrote it around April last year. But I was still living like mid crash out or mid just like not realizing how, you know, that I needed to kind of settle down and get stuff together. So that just kind of shows you could really be close to God, but it's like your heart, your mind can be there. It's almost like I've learned about carnal Christianity as well. And that's like, you know, you could be doing everything. You could be doing stuff what's right and all of that, but not your heart might be there. You might even have the Holy Spirit, but you're not filled with the Holy Spirit, if that makes sense. So it was like, it's only when I went through what I was going through over this winter, and I stopped going out, and I was like, I stopped smoking again, wasn't drinking, the whole shebang bang, the celibate, all of that. And then as I was just like saying, yo, I'm bored, but I'm gonna just sit here, I started doing this thing called Gentle Reminders, which was, I was talking about, was like an affirmation series. And it was just like talking, you know, positive, godly stuff as well. Because, you know, affirmations, people might know affirmations, like, but no,
encouragement.
Encouragement,
yes.
it was encouragement. But I said, let me put that to music just for myself, because I needed it. I wanted to, you know, if you get depressed, you want to hear, like, no, I'm worthy. I am, you know, I am somebody. This isn't forever. This season I'm going through. And just repeat it. And one of my friends, Eric, put me onto that some years back. And I said, let me do that.
Yeah.
So I did that the beginning of the year. And I was doing that. I did like about 6 of them. And then that's when God was like, I saw Showers again. I was like, I listened to it back. I was like, this is affirmations, but on song.
Yeah.
So when I really went back into the lyrics, I just started mixing the track again. And I really broke it down. And I was like, oh, this is so honest. That song basically is... The verses are like describing my life, my struggle every day. Like in the morning, wake up, pray, God, I need a sign today. Because I'm just trying to find a way that doesn't let me go astray. You know, something's changing. I don't know, something that I can't control. It's a feeling in my soul. It's feeling like an overflow. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like there's something going on inside of me. It's like my cry. Both verses are like my cry. And then the hooks are like affirmations. I mean, no, the hooks are like, my prayer now, and that was inspired by the prayer of Jabez. You know, it was like, Lord, that I'm truly blessed. Your hand will be with me, my distress will cease, and you expand my territories. Your hand will be with me, and my distress will cease.
Yes.
And he said it would, you'll protect me from all evil. Simple prayer, and it said God granted it to him. And when you think about it, it's the priorities. So I said, like, yo, that's the prayer, what I need, that I'm truly blessed. And then the chorus is, blessings are falling on me even when I can't see.
Yeah.
So it's an affirmation. Like, even though I can't see and I'm in a mad situation and I feel so far from you, I'm going to say that you're blessed, that you are close to me. I'm going to confirm and believe, pronounce in my mouth, testify that you still there for me, you still care about me, and you're still here. And it just remind me of Psalms. You know, King David was wilding, and I love him so much. He would say, why have you forsaken me? You say all of this stuff that like how his reality seems. But it doesn't end there, but he'll spin it back and he'll end it on, but you are God, and you are, you know, in praise and affirmation of who God is and on God's heart posture. And I think that's the one thing, the one lie in this world is that God doesn't love us. And the one truth is God loves us eternally. And once you just put that, you cancel that, everything about, you know, from the beginning, from
Eve.
Yeah, from Eve. Did he really say, he's basically saying testing God's heart posture, God's heart to you.
Yeah.
Cain, Abel, everything, testing God's heart to you. And it's like, yo, if Eve said, yeah, he does love me, and I don't need this or whatever, or just said
I'm
the truth.
good. Yep.
We're chilling right now.
That's a fact.
Yo, yeah.
Wow. I love that. That's really good. And I want people to take, away from that and understand that there's so much power in music. There's so much power in the ability to share with people encouragements, things that they may not have time or make time to read, things that they may not hear the preacher say. You can put your headphones in and you can hear something that really inspires you and gives you the encouragement that you need. I got 2 more questions for you. One that we always end out with. But before that, I got to do something fun with you. You were on a little show called Pop the Balloon on YouTube, which is now on Netflix.
Yeah.
But you were on when it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
And how did that come about? And it seems to be for people who are looking for love.
Yeah.
So are you looking for love right now? What's that? What season of your life are you in that way?
So I'm in a season where I don't want to say I'm looking for anything. I want to say I'm open to anything.
Okay.
Open to, you know what I mean? And I've learned about chasing versus attracting, But not everybody, some people are looking for love, but they're not really open to it. Because if love really knocks on their door, dude, are they really open to what love really means, So it's like I had to allow myself to be open to love. And being open to love also allows yourself to not take yourself too seriously.
Yep.
Not take yourself, feel like you're this most important thing.
Yeah.
Like we are all like dirt and mush.
Yes.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, from dust we are, from dust we shall return,
Yes. So how did you end up on Pop the Balloon?
So
with that, I mean,
I was spinning the block. So shout out my cousin Jordy. She's based in Phoenix. So I went to visit her on this trip first, and she had been on the show a few months before, and I didn't really used to watch it. Like I used to, I'm gonna be real. I was a cynic. I was like, just because it was a relationship.
I'm not super familiar, but I did see it on your page, and I was like,
That's why this is how it works. That's how it works. Yes. So I was like, that show. She won in it. I went in it. I watched it just to see her. Why, when I tell you I watched that, I got hooked. And I mean hooked to the point where even when I was packing my bags to come out here to stay awake, I was binging it. Like I would binge the show. It was my thing. And I was like, I couldn't go on there though. So I pulled up to her, I was staying by her. She's like, yo, you should go on the show. I was like, nah, what do you mean? I'm not going, what? Going there for what? Like, I'm good. I got my emotion going. I don't. And then I said it to a couple of people back in the UK. I was like, yo, my cousin was saying I should go on it. Everyone was like, no, you should go on it. I was like, bro, if you don't go on that show. And I thought, what it was? I was realizing, yo, why am I scared? And that's what I didn't like. I didn't like the idea of being scared, because then when you're scared of something is when you close yourself up to opportunities. I'm thinking, what is it? Is it nervous because I'm thinking what people will say about me? But everything you need is at the end of your comfort zone. Everything you need is at the end of your fears. Yeah. So, you can't, faith and fear can't live in the same room. So that's, Nip said, I'm trying to be afraid of afraid. Yeah. So that's once I clocked that, I was like, oh, but what if I'm blocking my blessing? Or what if, just what if? And that's kind of where God had got me now. It's funny enough, we're talking about Pop the Balloon, but we had like a revival at my church that I go to like a few weeks before. Yeah, tell me about that. Yeah, and it was like, really about the Holy Spirit is about surrendering all of you, whatever you feel, whatever your thing is, your whole coolness, whatever's cool, your plans and all of that, and just being able to go with the flow. The Holy Spirit could say, go there, go do this, do that. So I'm not gonna lie, I didn't just say, I'm going there. I was praying, I was like, Lord, if you really want me to, Lord, every day, Lord, do I go on this show? Like, it looks like I just pulled up there, like, yeah, I was praying, bro. I was like, yo, God, I don't want to go on there. It's not your will. It's not for me. And then I just felt cool, man. I hadn't even gone to church, and one of the aunties from church was like, yeah, I'll take you. And I know she liked the show because she ended up chilling. She's like, I'll come back, watch it, chilling, watch it. So yeah, there's not too much I could say about the details of the filming, because it's like, it's always still running in that.
Absolutely.
But I could tell you about like the how I ended up going there. And then so I decided to go in there. And I'm really glad I did,
I'm glad you did too.
Yeah.
Listen, you never know what is the thing that's going to help, push your message where you can reach the people who God has called you to reach. Right. One of the questions that we end with here on our show is, in the grand scheme of things, what do you want your legacy to be? And I want to ask you, with all that you've already done, with all that you're working on, which I'm going to give you a chance to tell the people about after this question, but in the grand scheme of things, what do you want your legacy to be?
Wow, it's crazy. That's such a simple question that you think I would have an answer for, just like straight like that. But I feel legacy is a tough one right now, man. Because once you start thinking about, I'm going for eternal life, man. Like this world and everything we in the last days. This world is all going, and there'll be a new heaven and new earth. A lot of people don't sleep on the new earth bit, you know. We're gonna be out here down here. People think it's all heaven with a big gold and spot. We're gonna be back down here with just like an earth and houses and roads and Buford highway again, but the better version. So like, I'm always thinking like in that mindset now, but my legacy, because you know, I want to just show that you don't have to follow the crowd. Still, you know, you're cool to be different. You're not cool to be a clone. And I want to say that I inspired people to do that. You know, I'm still fighting my own battles as well, because there's so many different sides to me, and it's conflicting and it's a journey and whatnot. But I want to show people that I didn't give up and I stuck it out to the end, and I didn't switch out on God. No matter how far I might boomerang left, right, I stuck with God, you know, and that's why Peter in the Bible is my guy, because 1 minute he's like, this is my church, next minute, get you behind me, Satan. Next minute he's denying him 3 times, and then but he held it down to the end, you know. And it's like I want to just be the guy that is like, yo, locked in with God and held it down, you know what I mean, and just showed that God doesn't give up on you, you know, and he'll still, that's it.
I love
still
that.
bring you
That's
through.
what's up. That's what's up. Listen, tell the people where they can find you, what you got coming up, anything they should be locked in, looking for from you. Let the people in the US know what they should be locking into in the UK.
Hey, yo, So I'm on all socials. Well, not all social. I'm on socials under SSK_music. Right now, I'm doing a lot of tech work. Like I'm saying, I'm doing these AI. I started doing music tech workshops that I would bring into a youth center that I used to go to, and then started giving back by doing the session there, because they kept me out of trouble. I didn't even go into that's another interview, but like so I was doing that. But yeah, I've got a tech company. We build solutions, AI solutions, and right now I'm just trying to open it up. So, because a lot of people are asking me, especially since the show as well, a lot of people have been hitting me up to get you know, AI introductions or just like AI courses and stuff. So I might put together a course or to start doing something like that.
Dope.
But yeah, music-wise, I'm just out here getting inspiration. I'm really inspired, man. I think I'm ready to set the mic up again now. Out here in these Georgia woods. Yeah. And just record some new stuff. I'm always working with artists. Yeah. I've got like a direct beat club. So if you want to go on my Instagram, you could join that and you get beats sent out to you every week.
Yes, hit the link in his bio. You'll see the SSK Beat Club.
That's it, man. It's all that direct to consumer, because it's tough out here. Sometimes this middleman, these algorithms, they push, the people aren't getting the music, and you know, so we want to just go direct to consumer. Cut out the middleman, and that's how we've been doing it for the last few years.
Listen, well, y'all heard it here first. We got SSK. Is this your first interview in the States?
No,
your first podcast?
My first podcast like that. Yeah. In fact, no, I did a podcast. I keep calling it radio. It was a podcast in Phoenix. Okay. Over there.
In Georgia? Am I your first in Georgia?
First in Georgia.
All right, first podcast in Georgia, SSK. Listen, y'all lock in with him. Make sure that you stay tuned to his music, to his AI programs that he's teaching, and just to the different things that he's doing, because it is something really, really special. It's so special, even. Hey, you see what I did there?
See? It was all planned.
Awesome. Glad that you could be here. Listen, this has been another episode of I'll Just Let Myself In with your girl, Lish Speaks. Y'all know what it is, the podcast where we don't wait for an imaginary permission slip or some seat at an imaginary table. I want to encourage you, if you've enjoyed what you've seen today, go ahead and share it with a friend. Leave us a review, a like, a comment. Let people know what you're learning here, and we'll see you back on the next one. Peace.
So have a great day.